Hi student, myself Mubin. We will starting second sem, second unit, that is Ionic Equilibria and Chemical Equilibria. In that we are studying Ionic Equilibria. What do you mean by Ionic Equilibria? First we study what do you mean by Ionic Equilibria. Ionic Equilibria means it involves study of hydrolysis of salt. That is hydrolysis of salts and dissociation of salt, dissociation of salt, and also involves dissociation of weak acid, and also involves dissociation of weak acid and weak base. Weak acid and weak base. What do you mean by ionic equilibria? Ionic equilibria is study of hydrolysis of salt, dissociation of salt, dissociation of weak acid and weak base. This is we have to study in ionic equilibria. In that, before going to study what you mean by hydrolysis of salt, we have to know some definition. First one is what you mean by hydrolysis. What do you mean by hydrolysis? Hydrolysis means breaking of water. You already know what do you mean by hydrolysis. Hydrolysis is nothing but breaking of water molecule. This is called hydrolysis, or it is also interaction of, that is interaction of anion and cation of salt with H plus or OH minus by water. This is comes from H plus and OH minus comes from water. Yielding means gives acidic or basic solution. Acidic or basic solution is called hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means breaking of water molecule or interaction of anion or cation of salt with H plus or OH minus by water, yielding acidic or basic solution is called hydrolysis. For example, NaCl. Consider one salt interact with H2O. It will give NaOH plus HCl. In this reaction, consider interaction of anion and cation of salt. Na plus is cation, Cl minus is anion. Interact with H plus. We have to write H2 as a H plus and OH minus. Interaction of H plus will interact with OH minus and Cl minus will interact with H plus. This will give NaOH plus HCl. NaOH plus HCl. This is alkaline solution. Alkaline solution is also called as basic solution. This is acidic solution. In our definition, interaction of anion and cation of salt with H plus or OH minus by water yielding acidic or basic solution. Interaction of cation. Na plus is cation, Cl minus is anion. Cation interacted with OH minus of water, Cl minus, that is anion, interacted with cation, that is H plus. It will form alkaline solution and acidic solution. This is called hydrolysis. Then next definition is, second one is, what do you mean by strong acid? What do you mean by strong acid and strong base. What do you mean by strong acid and strong base? Before going to study strong acid and strong base, what we know, what do you mean by acid? Acid means which donate H plus ion. Which donate H plus ion is called as acid, and base means which donate OH minus ion. We know already. Compound which donate H plus is called as acid. The compound which donate OH minus ion is called as base. This is already we know. Then what do you mean by strong acid? Strong acid is nothing but acid which completely dissociate or completely dissociated gives H plus ion. Which completely dissociated gives H plus ion is called as strong acid. For example, consider HCl. It will give H plus and Cl minus. This will giving H plus, but it will be completely dissociated. That's why it is called as strong acid. Then next one is strong base. Strong base means base which is completely dissociated or ionizes. Is called as strong base. Consider one example. Base means which will donate OH minus ion. But it will dissociate completely. That's called as strong base. NaOH is example. It will give Na plus and OH minus. It will giving OH minus. It is as a strong base. It will completely dissociate. That's why it is called as strong base. Next definition is, what do you mean by weak acid? Weak acid and weak base. Acid means you already know which will donate H plus ion. Weak acid means which will doesn't completely dissociate. Acid which doesn't completely dissociate or ionizes. Is called as weak acid. Consider one example. Acetic acid. Acetic acid is weak acid. It will give CH3COO minus plus H plus. It will giving H plus ion. That's why it is called as acid, but it is weak acid because it doesn't completely dissociate. What happened? Consider 100 molecules of acetic acid. In that 75% of molecule will converted into acetate ion. CH3CO minus and H plus ions are formed. Remaining 25% of ions is remain as acetic acid. What happened? In 100 molecules of acetic acid, 75% of molecule will dissociate, form acetate ion and H plus ion. 25% of ions will be remain as acetic acid. 25% of molecules will remain as acetic acid. Therefore, it is weak acid. Same as weak base. Same weak base. Weak same as weak base. In weak base, what happen? It is a base which doesn't completely dissociate. Dissociated is called weak base. Weak base means base which doesn't completely dissociate. Consider an example, that is sodium nitrate, NaNO3 or NH4OH or NH4OH. Consider NH4OH it will give NH4 plus plus OH minus plus OH minus. It will also same. In that also 100 molecules of ammonium hydroxide will be present. It will converted some molecules are converted into NH4 plus and OH minus. Some particle remain as NH4 OH. That's why it is called as weak base. Next one is acidic solution. Fourth definition is acidic solution. Acidic solution. Before going to study hydrolysis of salt, we know some definition. In that, acidic solution means cation of salt. See the definition. Cation of salt react with OH minus ion by water molecule. Means in water molecule, cation of salt will react with OH minus ion, thereby concentration of OH minus decreases. Concentration of H plus ion increases. What happened? Consider example NH4 plus. This is cation of salt. Here is there no NH4OH is base. This is salt. In that NH4 plus is cation of this salt. OH minus is anion of this salt. This is cation. Positive charge indicate cation and negative charge indicate anion. This is cation of salt. Reacts with OH minus. This will react with OH minus of H plus. This will produce by water molecule. Water molecule gives H plus OH minus. Cation of salt react with OH minus of water. It will give NH4OH plus H plus. Means what happen? OH minus will react with NH4 plus. Therefore, concentration of OH minus is decreases. And concentration of H plus is increases. This is called as acidic solution. What happen in acidic solution? Cation of salt react with negative charge, that is OH minus of water, thereby decreasing concentration of OH minus ion, increasing concentration of H plus is called as acidic solution. Same as basic solution. Next one is basic solution. Basic solution means anion of salt. Basic solution means anion of salt. Basic solution means anion of salt react with. Why this will react? Cation means positive charge. Positive charge always react with negative charge. That's why anion of salt react with H plus of water. H plus ion of water. H plus ion of water. Thereby concentration of H plus is decreases. Here is H plus will react with anion of salt. Therefore, H plus ion concentration will decreases and concentration of OH minus is increases. Consider one example. CH3CO minus. This is anion of salt. React with H plus of water. This will comes from water. H2O gives H plus and OH minus. Therefore, acetate ion is negatively charged. It will react with positively charged H plus ion. It will give acetic acid CH3COOH plus OH minus. OH minus remain as from water. Therefore, concentration of OH minus is increases. Concentration of OH minus is increases and H plus is decreases. This is exactly reverse of acidic solution. What happen in acidic means H plus. H plus concentration will be increases and OH minus concentration will decreases. In basic solution, concentration of OH minus increases and H plus concentration decreases. This is called as basic solution. Next, for study of salt hydrolysis, for study of salt hydrolysis, for study of salt hydrolysis, for the study of salt hydrolysis, it is convenient to divide the salt into 4 categories. Salts into 4 category means for study of salt hydrolysis, how the salt hydrolysis will happen. Salt hydrolysis means addition of water or breaking of water in their salt. It is called salt hydrolysis. For the study of salt hydrolysis, salts will be divided into 4 categories. Salt is divided into 4 categories. 4 categories. In that, first one is salt of strong acid. Salt of strong acid. Salt of strong acid and strong base. Salt of strong acid and strong base. Next, second one is example for this is KCl. KCl is example for salt of strong acid and strong base. Second one is salt of weak acid. Salt of weak acid and strong base. For this example is CH3COONA. Example is, this is called KCl, potassium chloride. CH3COONA means sodium acetate. This is example for weak acid and strong base. Next, third one is salt of strong acid. Salt of strong acid and weak base. Example ammonium chloride. Example for strong acid and strong weak base. Fourth one is salt of weak acid and weak base. Both are weak acid and both are weak base. Example for this is ammonium acetate. CH3COONH4. This is called ammonium acetate. What we studied today class? Today class is, first one is what will be studied in ionic equilibria. Ionic equilibria means once again what we studied today is ionic equilibria. Ionic equilibria is study of salts, hydrolysis of salt, dissociation of weak acid and weak base, and also determination of pH. It will involve in ionic equilibria. Then first one, before going to study what you mean by hydrolysis of salt, we know some definition. First one is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis means simply it is breaking of water. See the example, breaking of water molecule into H plus OH minus. After that it will add to salt solution. Whatever salt is there, no, this H plus and OH minus will add to our salt. This is called as salt hydrolysis. NaCl is salt. H plus and OH minus will add to this salt is called as salt hydrolysis. Then next one is strong acid and strong base. Acid means H plus it will releases, base means OH minus it will release. Strong acid means it will giving H plus but it will be completely dissociated. Strong base means which is giving OH minus but it will be completely dissociated. And then weak acid and weak base. Weak acid and weak base means, weak acid means it is acid which will donate H plus but it will not dissociate completely, means some molecules will remain as acetic acid, some will convert it into acetate ion and H plus ion. This is called weak acid. Then next one is weak base. See, next one weak base. Base means which will giving OH minus ion but it will be not completely dissociated. This is called weak base. In acidic solution means it will increases the concentration of H plus, decreases concentration of OH minus when it will react with cation of salt. Only in presence of cation of salt react with OH minus, it will forming increase in concentration of H plus, decrease in concentration of OH minus. Then basic solution is reverse of acidic solution. What happen in basic solution? Anion of salt react with H plus of water giving increase acetic acid with increase in concentration of OH minus, decrease in concentration of H plus. Then for the study of salt hydrolysis, salts are divided into 4 categories. Salts are divided into 4 categories. First one is salts of strong acid and strong base, salt of weak acid and strong base, salt of strong acid and weak base, salt of weak acid and weak base. Then I hope student you understood the concept of salt hydrolysis, what is there in salt hydrolysis. Then we next class we will continue in detail study of how the hydrolysis will takes place in strong acid and strong base, weak acid and weak base, and weak acid and strong base, and strong acid and strong base. Okay, thank you for watching.